Last Saturday, I got my 5th serial card, my first serial Shanks, and 3rd place, all with MoriaHina. And I'm actually very happy. I've been grinding MoriaHina for a few weeks now. I've been literally no-lifing content for it on my Patreon. I think I also made a couple YouTube videos on it as well. And I'm glad to finally just got in 3rd place with it. Apparently, I already got my invite to the first NA Nationals, which is nice. Just in case y'all didn't know, we're getting 2 this year, but it's invite rather than open. And I got $10,000 plus in pricing. I didn't even realize, like, I went to look at my pricing. I went to look at the prices. I got serial Shanks. I got the top 8 Luffy that they're not printing again after 3 months. That might be worth more than serial Luffy in time, for all we know. I also got the Law and the Kid, and then a bunch of other random pricing. Like, I'm just... Yo, I'm so happy right now. So yeah, I'm very glad to have finally performed. I came into the set thinking Sakazuki was going to indisputably be the best deck. Like, I really thought that I would have played Sakazuki for all the tournaments I've done so far. But Moria's been really, really strong. It's been stronger than I could have ever expected, and I'm very glad that I picked it for this tournament, and I think I'll still be playing it for future tournaments. With that being said, let me stop let me stop glazing myself. Let's go ahead and actually get into the actual list. That way I can explain to y'all. That way y'all can see the list, because I don't even think I've posted it yet. So I'll show y'all the list, and then I'll explain card choices, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it here. Obviously, my leader is Gecko Moria, which is a very strong leader skills. Leader skills Don X1. When attacking, you rest 2 Don. You discard a card from your hand, mill 2. Then you can call a Thriller Bark attacker from your drops. And then this leader skill is just so strong. I think it's what makes it even comparable to Sakazuki, because you can even have 0 cards in hand, and you can just make like crazy plays. So that's the leader there. These are my cool Utah sleeves. Unfortunately, I don't have the prizing yet, so I can't show that to y'all yet, but that'll be a separate video in the future. Let's hop into it. So first off, we have 3 Suru. So this 3 Suru is going to confuse a lot of people, and I don't know if it's objectively right, but it's the ratio that I'm likely going to stick with for the entire set. Basically, I wanted to have both 4 Eruption and 4 Ice Age, so I was like, okay, where can I cut in order to make space for this? I didn't want to take Sindri to 3 copies because this card is way too broken. I couldn't find any other space, so I just took Suru to 3, and honestly, it hasn't been that bad yet. It's probably the ratio I'm going to stick with, but if you do want to run 4 copies, I understand. Just cut an Eruption or an Ice Age, buy a copy, or don't play a Rebecca Hina package, but I think that's wrong, as I'll explain more in the video. For Sindri, this is by far the most broken card in the deck. I can't believe Japan, like, some Japanese players didn't even run this, and I don't get it. Like, it's just way too strong. Being able to mill 5 is crazy. Like, for those of y'all who don't know this card, let me show y'all Hogback. We have this card named Hogback, right? And Hogback reads, on play, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Add any Thriller Bark character from your trash to your hand, right? So if you use this, you use leader skill to play this, you essentially have a search top 7 for our main boss monster, which is 8 cost Moria. That's absolutely insane, right? Have they ever printed a searcher that says check top 7 for your main boss monster? Now, I do get it, it's a 2-card combo, but compared to Sakazuki, which can't even search for Moria in the first place, being able to check the top 7 cards of our deck is absolutely insane. So I think Force Energy is too important. Then obviously you can also get good cards like Absalon into the trash, just in case you need removal for the entire game, because there'll be games against yellow where if you don't see this card, you'll literally scoop. And then by playing this, you can also guarantee the best move, which is well, not like literally guarantee, but you can also go for that turn 1 Perona, which yo, where do my Peronas go? Yeah, you can go for that turn 1 Perona, which discards a card from your opponent's hand. So by playing this, we just have more consistency in seeing this, and seeing Absalon. So such an insane card. Next up, we have 2 Brand New. Brand New is, 2 Brand New was probably what I liked least this weekend. I'll talk more about it later. I think I should have had 3 of this and 2 of something else. But 2 copies didn't punish me too much. I was pretty much just Sindri gaming the whole day. I was just playing Sindri and just milling 5, and that was pretty much enough. Sometimes I'd have Brand New in trash. Sometimes I didn't have Brand New in trash, which I would have liked to have it in trash, but it just is what it is, right? Because I played 2 copies for the weekend. I definitely would run at least 3 of this, and I think 3 is probably the amount I'm just going to be playing in general, just because I do need space for some other cards in my deck, but definitely run this at 3 instead of 2. And yeah, just know that for the most part, this card is better than Brand New, but if you're going second, you can play this on your first turn for 2 Don. Then on your 4 Don turn, you can play Sindri, mill 5, and you still have 3 Don left in order to choose leader skill. So I would definitely just keep that in mind. Next up, 2 Helmeppo. Helmeppo is just too strong. The main reason we use Helmeppo is because on our 9 Don turn, for example, we can use Great Eruption to do -2 cost to an opponent's unit. Then we can play Moria, and Moria will make another 4 cost unit 1 cost, right? You play Moria, and then you call Lucci. off the Moria, if I can find the Lucci. Yeah. You play Moria, you play Helmeppo Lucci. So Great Eruption made one of the 4 costs 2 costs. Helmeppo makes the other 4 costs 1 cost, and then Lucci pops both. That's like the main use of Helmeppo here, which is really strong. Also against decks like Perona, you can use Ice Sage, Moria, and Helmeppo, and you can make a 10 cost 2 cost, so you can pop 10 cost Doflamingos and stuff like that. So that's a very strong combo as well. So I think Helmeppo is very strong in the deck. It should definitely be at least 2 copies. I would like 3, but I don't think I'll ever be able to fit 3 in my deck just because of lack of space. But if you're playing like the no Rebecca Hina version, definitely just consider 3 copies because you can definitely fit in 3. Next up, we have 2 Hina. This card was absolutely insane the whole weekend. This is my MVP, to be honest, in general. I think it's the reason I beat so many mirror matches, so many Katakuri, stuff like that. Like, if y'all look at my record for the weekend, I literally lost to no mirrors and no Sakazuki, and I think Hina was a very, very huge part of that, just so strong. And I played a bunch of Katakuris as well. I only lost to 2. Between both Saturday and Sunday, I only lost to 2. On the first day, which I got 3rd place, the only Katakuri I lost to was the winner the entire day, which is so unfortunate. But yeah, Hina was just so clutch. Like Hina, so the main combo that I like Hina for is, well, on your 6th on turn of going 2nd, if you play this and you play Absalon, you just produce 2 bodies while destroying one of your opponent's bodies, and that's very, very strong. But Hina's very, very strong outside of that. Like, some people think, okay, that's niche, like it's only good on 6th on turn going 2nd, right? That would be incorrect, because the other thing Hina can do is you play Hina, you play Great Eruption, and you just made their Moria 2 cost, and now you can pop the opposing Moria with like leader skill, play another Absalon. And that combo is just so insane because you have more ways to remove your opponent's Moria than your opponent, and especially against decks like Sakazuki, which run out of steam towards the end of the game against Moria. Just being able to always have a way to pop your opponent's Moria will set you significantly ahead. So those combos are the main reason I really like Hina. It's also really good when going 2nd against yellow. That Hina Absalon combo is arguably better than getting that Borsalino on the 4th on turn of going 2nd. Like, I think being able to see Hina Absalon against Katakuri when going 2nd is higher priority than anything else. I think it's the best possible thing you can see. So very happy that I had this in this weekend. I also had 1 Rebecca. The reason I had 1 Rebecca is thanks to our mill with like Sindri, leader skill, and brand new. I was like, okay, Rebecca will just be like a 3rd Hina half the time, but it's also a blocker. And I'm very happy I played Rebecca this weekend. I actually liked it a lot more than Borsalino. The night before the tournament, I don't know why, I was like, man, I'll just play 3 Borsalino, play 1 Rebecca. That was my biggest regret by far. I definitely wish I had like 2 to 3 Rebecca. I was lucky and I saw Rebecca instead of Borsalino like a few times, which just helped me straight up win games. Like, this card's so nuts. For one, being able to call Hina so we can do the Great Eruption Hina combo is so insane. But even more than that, Rebecca can grab Sabo from the trash. So like in the mirror match, you can play Rebecca, play Sabo, and you have an extra 2 life for the turn because the mirror has no way to like kill these blockers, right, except by attacking. So that's a very strong combo as well. And I often like to call it off of like a cost Moria. Like, if I'm on 10 down against Katakuri and I can't remove a unit or something, I'll just play Moria, play Rebecca. They can't reject Amaru me yet because I still have like 2 life, so they can't cast reject. And then I just use Rebecca to grab a Sabo, and then I can extend the game by another turn if necessary. This card just has a lot of flexibility. Being able to grab Hina is very strong, and it's just often strong to call off Moria. And then next up, we have 3 Lucci. I think you have to have 3 Lucci in the deck, man. 3 Lucci is just so strong. It's just very, very common where we call it off Cost Moria, and then we just try to pop 2 units with it. Like, one of the main combos in this deck in the mirror match is to go Great Eruption, Ice Age, and then you play the Cost Moria. Cost Moria will play Lucci and Helmeppo, and you'll just be able to pop your opponent's Moria and one of their 4 costs. So that's one of the main combos here, and having Lucci at 3 copies just ensures that we see Lucci in the early game. Also, when you're in those games, especially against yellow, where you're just not drawing an Absalon early, you can play Lucci from your hand as well, and it can also function as an Absalon like that. And this card also happens to be really strong against Nami because it's a 6k attacker that can also pop like their Kais and stuff like that. So very strong card. Next up, 3 Borsalino. This is the biggest regret of my weekend by far. I don't think I need 3 Borsalino. I knew I didn't. I don't know why. Like, I reverted my list. I had a list where I just didn't run Borsalino. This day I was like, okay, I'm gonna run 3. And this card severely underperformed the whole day. This one of Rebecca overperformed, and it was only at 1 copy. Like, I was literally lucky I saw this card compared to this card. I played against so many mirrors and so many Sakazukis, and against the majority of them, I didn't even field this card once. Like, Rebecca was just way better 90% of the time. Even in the mirror match, I went like Rebecca Sabon. That was way better than Borsalino. I think this card's just training wheels. I think it just seems really sweet, right? It's like, oh, Moria, right? Moria can't pop stuff, so Borsalino's so crazy. But you have to think, do you ever really have time to play Borsalino? You do. If you're not playing the Rebecca Hina package, I get it. You do have like more room to play Borsalino because you don't have plays, right? Like if you run out of ways to pop the opposing Cost Moria, you have to start doing weird stuff like Borsalino, leader skill, pop one of their 4-drops, right? But if you play the Rebecca Hina package instead and you don't play this, you can go like Rebecca Hina, Absalom, pop their Moria, and you can still get ahead on board. So as long as you like play Hina and you have more ways to pop Moria than your opponent, you'll find that you don't really have much time to play this card because you're actively answering their board the entire game because you have more ways to answer it. So I don't really like this card. If you're not playing the Rebecca Hina package, you kind of need this card, right? Because when you run out of removal against Moria, what else are you going to do? You have to start blocking up and killing their board. But if you do have this package, I honestly, like, you only need like 1 copy max, I think, because you can respond to their board the whole game. You have like no timing to really play this except the very end of the game. Next up, we have 3 Kuzan. This card overperformed for me. A lot of people only like 2 copies of this card, but I decided to play 3. And the reason is, in mirror matches, Kuzan is very, very strong. For one, I actually like this card on my 4-down turn more than Borsalino. And the reason for this is because, one, it draws me a card, right? So it replaces itself, but the opponent has to answer it. Like, it makes their 5-down turn so much weirder because they can't try to play Hog back and grab a Moria from their trash. They can't play Perona to discard another card from my hand. It's just so strong. Like, it prevents double Perona. It prevents them from playing Sabo, which is also troublesome from the player going first because their board becomes indestructible and they just don't attack. And then on their 7-down turn, they get 2 more units. All of a sudden, they have 4 units, right? So this stops them from playing Sabo, which is very, very strong as well. And yeah, I just think it disrupts the opponent's play while setting us up. And if they don't remove it, like, you literally just win the game. And there's also a weird dance in the mirror where if the player going first doesn't play Kuzan on their 7-down turn, for the Moria player going second on their 8th-down turn, they can play Kuzan from the trash. And the thing is, in Moria, they can never kill they can never really kill an 8-drop and a 4-drop on their 9-down turn because Ice Age plus Moria. Ice Age only makes Moria 3 cost, right? Like, you need that extra great eruption or that extra cost minus, right? So Ice Age makes Moria 3 cost, and they have to play like a Helm Up or something to pop the Moria, or they have to decide to pop the Kuzan. Either way, it's a very bad decision because if they leave Kuzan, all I need is 1 great eruption, and now their Moria is just dead. And if they leave Moria, I have an extra 9k body for the entire game, and if I field another Moria, it's just GG's. And that situation actually came up a lot the entire day. We'll go through this one pretty quick. So we have 12 Thriller Bard characters for Perona. It's like the best play on the 3-down turn going first. For Hogback, this card's really strong for bringing back Cost Moria. One thing I will say about this is if you have both of these, but you have Moria in your trash, just play this instead, bro. Play this, grab your Moria. It's just, like, the more Morias you see, the more ahead you are of your opponent. But if you don't have Moria in your trash, then just always play Perona pretty much. And then for Absalom, another MVP of this deck, having access to removal at literally any time for 3-down with leader skill is just so insane. And I don't think you can reduce any of these. In my original Patreon list, I only had 3 Hogback, but I do think that's incorrect. For one, I want to have 12 Thriller Bark units, so I just increased my chance of opening a Thriller Bark unit, right? And then this also can grab back those 8 cost Moria, so I do think you have to have 4 copies. Next up, we have 3 Sabo. I would kind of like to have 4 Sabo, but in this Rebecca Hina version, like, you have more leeway with 3 Sabo because you can just always, like, grab it from the trash with Rebecca, or even if I play like Cost Moria, play Rebecca, grab Sabo from trash, and then play like a Hina from hand. You can just always do weird plays like that. So I feel like 3 copies of this is way better in the Rebecca version than the version without Rebecca. And I do think it's just hard to find like the 4th copy of Sabo in general, right? Because I was just talking about wanting to take Brandon to 3, wanting to take Helmepa to 3. Like, it's just a space issue. Like, if you can fit in 4 copies, if you want to cut something weird, fit in 4 copies, go ahead and do that. I do think 3 is enough though, and this card is definitely MVP. One of the strongest combos in the mirror match is to go like Ice Sage Eruption, leader skill, play Absalom, you pop their Cost Moria, then you play Sabo, and then your whole board's protected and you got rid of their big Moria. And this is even more broken if you had a Moria that's stuck on your board because your opponent's just out of the game, right? Then next up for Cost Moria, this is just the main MVP of the deck. Not much to say, just so many combos. I guess the unique combos I'll mention with this card is, as I mentioned earlier, if your opponent didn't play 4 cost Kuzan on their 7-down turn going first, you can just play this, play Kuzan, and then your opponent's in a very weird spot on their 9-down turn. Another common play is to play like Rebecca off the Moria, then you can just, like, you can call a Hina from your hand and grab like a Sabo from your trash. So you essentially like replace the Hina in your hand for Sabo, which is very, very strong. And those are probably the main combos. And then everybody already knows the combo I mentioned earlier, right? Like Ice Age, Great Eruption, you play Helmeppo, you play Lucci, then you pop an 8 cost and a 4 cost on your opponent's board. And then I guess the last combo I'll also mention is, as I also mentioned earlier, if you do Ice Age, Moria, and Helmeppo, you can pop a 10 cost. So that'll be very, very relevant against decks like Perona. Then last we have 4 Eruption. As I mentioned earlier, I chose to have 3 Suru and 4 Eruption. I just think Eruption is just so important in mirror matches. Like that extra draw when you're trying to cost minus just goes a long way. And it's even good against non-mirror decks because you get like 1 card closer to drawing into like a 8 cost Moria. Or maybe against yellow you need to draw into like an Ice Age or a Sabo. So I do always like 4 copies of Great Eruption. Then lastly, we have 4 Ice Age, and I think Ice Age could potentially go to 3 copies. I am still kind of deciding on like what the ideal ratio is, but I think 4 is really strong. 4 is definitely the best against Reiju, because when you go first, you basically want a hard move for this card, so you can like pop their Ichiji on your 5-Don turn, but oftentimes, even if you don't pop Ichiji on the 5-Don turn, you enter on the next turn, you'll be straight. So I don't know. I might end up going to 3 copies so I can make space for like a 4 Sabo or something like that, but I don't know. I do really like 4 copies. This is it for the list. I guess lastly what I want to mention is that I did play a different list on Sunday, and I do think my Sunday list is better. I have that list available on Patreon if you want to check that out, but I will talk about like a little bit about my edits right now. So the main thing I would do is I would definitely reduce Borsalino in this deck. Even if you're a believer in Borsalino, I just want you to practice playing this deck with more Hinas and Rebeccas and no Borsalino, and just practice it and tell me how you feel. I feel like Borsalino is just a dream to most people. They're just like, it's an indestructible blocker. It has to be the best card, right? But no, you see more and more, even Sakazuki players cutting Borsalino as well. And I really don't think we need it in this deck as well. Like, it's not even as godly of a card as people think it is in the mirror match. As I told you, I played this card like 0 times in like all of my mirrors, and I won. I won like all my mirrors. I won all my Sakazuki games this weekend. So I don't know, man. I'm just not a Borsalino believer. I would probably cut like a Borsalino or 2. Let's say I'll cut like 2 Borsalinos, and then I'll go ahead and add in another brand new, and then you can add in anything else you want. Like you can add in like another Helmeppo, Hina, whatever. I'm still figuring out what the ideal ratio is. There's a chance that I just remove Borsalino altogether and go to 4 Sabo. Still deciding on it, but this is it for my list. Let's go ahead and debrief. This is it for my 3rd place deck breakdown. If you guys do want more information on Moria, definitely check out my Patreon. I actually did like a whole tournament review of this like a day ago, and I do think it's very informative, and I go on a whole rant about why I don't like Borsalino, and I think I really explain it very well there, why I don't believe you need Borsalino, especially in like mirror matches and stuff like that. But if there are any low-key other Rebecca Hina believers in the comments, please let me know, bro, because I'm sick of having to defend myself, bro. Like, even in my Patreon chat, I always have people actually asking, I'm like, nah, bro, like, I do think Rebecca Hina is a better version, but both versions are good and stuff like that. But hopefully with this 3rd place, I can convince more people to really try the Rebecca Hina version. There's actually also an EU player who also got top 4 with Rebecca Hina and literally zero Borsalino, and I even wish that I only had 1 or 0 Borsalino myself. So just let me know y'all's thoughts on that. I do think we have a lot more results coming this season, so hopefully y'all see more videos from me like this of me talking about a top placing or whatever. This season I'm really grinding. I'm grinding for it for sure. But with that being said, I'll catch y'all when or then. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.